I've been away. I've been away because sometimes it's time to be quiet and just reflect. And on the eve of hearing the decision concerning the police officer's fate in regards to the killing of Breonna Taylor, I just feel a need to speak. This podcast was started to be an example of Black women rising, positive examples. And I just feel a need to just remember all the wonderful things that have happened and all of the examples of Black women rising that have been evident this year. And we even see that with the situation with Breonna Taylor. And we know her story, or we should know her story. This was a 26-year-old Black female who was sleeping in her own bed, in her own apartment, when police officers came into the apartment unannounced. Her boyfriend, who was there with her, attempted to protect the two of them. He shot at the police, and the police proceeded to open fire, shooting Breonna Taylor 8 times. They killed her. The boyfriend was initially taken down to the police station and was held. He was subsequently released. And to date, this incident happened in March. And to date, we are now in September. We have yet to hear the fate of the police officers involved in the killing of Breonna Taylor. But the example that I want to mention is the example of Black women rising who have not let her go, not let her story go away. People like Oprah Winfrey, who put a picture of Breonna on the cover of her magazine. People like Regina King and Naomi Osaka have used their fame and their notoriety to bring attention to Breonna Taylor, to let her not be forgotten, Examples of Black women rising, Black women recognizing that we are stronger together. And this also happened this year when we saw 2 Black women, Akilah Johnson and Talila Buford, who wrote an article which brought attention to the racial disparities seen with the coronavirus. Up until that point, people were thinking and saying that Blacks were immune to the coronavirus, only to find out that Blacks and Browns were at an increased risk of becoming infected and dying due to the coronavirus. And all of that became evident when these 2 Black women wrote the article, because up until then, the CDC was not reporting on the racial breakdown of the coronavirus. So we have these women to thank, examples of Black women rising, examples like Nicole Hannah-Jones, who received a Pulitzer Prize this year for her commentary in the 1619 piece. Let us not forget that the efforts made by Black women to tell our story, to represent the truth. That's what these 3 women did. And sometimes it becomes evident that there is racism in the society, and there is racism in healthcare, and there is racism among the healthcare institutions. And to that effect, There have been disparities in all aspects, but for Black women especially, one of the things that Black women have been at an increased risk for is fibroid tumors. But it took 2 Black women in Congress, New York Representative Yvette Clarke and California Senator Kamala Harris, to bring it to the forefront to say we want to introduce a bill into Congress that would allow the monies for additional research and education to find out exactly why. Why are fibroids so prevalent for all women, but particularly for Black women? Knowing that Black women are affected at an earlier age, they become bigger, they are more symptomatic, and Black women tend to need more surgery as a result. These are 2 women that presented a bill in Congress, which just highlights, particularly in this year of a major election, the importance of representation. And then sometimes for us, pain hits home. And if you're a Black woman, you're at an increased risk for triple negative breast cancer. And sometimes the diagnosis comes to you. And when it does, it takes Black female surgeons like Dr. Lisa Nelson and Black sisters like Carmen to hold you up when the pain hits home. But I think most impressive to me this year has been the stance taken by the licensed nurse practitioner who had everything to lose by bringing notice, by blowing the whistle on the inordinate amount of surgical procedures, including hysterectomies, that were being performed on brown and Black women. It took a lot. It took a lot for her to do it. She risked a lot. She still may suffer as a result of coming forward. But this is just yet another example of Black women rising. And we should know her name. Her name is Dawn Wooten, who took it on herself to make it known, to say something. When you see something, say something. And she did that. And so we have to, in this crazy year, remember that Black women continue to rise. To remember that we are not powerless. We have the power. We just need to understand that we have the power and that we are stronger together.